Is it possible to be successful in your career while also maintaining a fulfilling personal life? This is the big question we're tackling today as we delve into the complex world of work-life balance. This elusive equilibrium, often regarded as a myth, is actually within our reach. We'll be exploring this topic through the lens of real-life stories, offering a fresh perspective on the struggles and triumphs of balancing job demands with family life. Finding this balance may seem like a tightrope walk, but it's not impossible. Let's delve into some real-life stories to understand this better. Meet John, a high-powered executive who was constantly on the brink of burnout. John was the epitome of the modern-day corporate warrior. He was always on the go, juggling multiple responsibilities and pushing himself to meet the relentless demands of his job. The long hours he spent in the office were beginning to take a toll on him, both physically and emotionally. John's work life was like a race against time. Every day was filled with back-to-back meetings, crunching numbers, and putting out fires. His days usually started before sunrise and ended long after sunset. The concept of 9 to 5 was foreign to him. His work was his life, and he was proud of his dedication. But this commitment came at a heavy price. Away from the corporate hustle and bustle, John's home life was suffering. His wife and 2 children rarely saw him, important family events were missed, and quality time with his loved ones became a rarity. His children were growing up and he was missing it. The little moments that make up a life were slipping through his fingers like sand, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Furthermore, the strain of his work was beginning to affect his health. He was always tired, had frequent headaches, and his doctor warned him of the potential onset of chronic stress-related conditions. His diet was poor, and exercise was an alien concept. He was burning the candle at both ends and his body was starting to feel the heat. His relationships were also on thin ice due to his absence and preoccupation with work. His wife felt neglected and his children were growing distant. His friends barely saw him, and when they did, he was too exhausted to engage. The bonds he once held dear were fraying, and he felt powerless to mend them. John knew something had to change. But what? We'll find out in a bit. John decided to take control of his life. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but it was necessary. John started by delegating tasks. He realized that he was not a one-man army. He began to trust his team more, assigning tasks based on their skill sets. This not only reduced his workload, but also boosted his team's morale. Next, John set boundaries. He made it clear that his personal life was just as important as his professional life. He began leaving work at a reasonable hour, and resisted the urge to check his work emails after office hours. John also prioritized his health and family. He started to exercise regularly and made conscious efforts to spend quality time with his family. He understood that his well-being and family were the foundations of his life. John's story shows us that change is challenging, but the results can be incredibly rewarding. John's journey to a balanced life wasn't easy, but the improved quality of his life made it all worthwhile. Now let's meet Sarah, a single mother juggling a demanding job and raising 2 kids. Sarah's story is one of constant juggling. She's a project manager at a tech firm, a role that demands a lot of her time and attention. But when she clocks out of her job, her day is far from over. Sarah is also a mom to 2 energetic kids, ages 6 and 8. The moment she steps through her front door, she steps into her second job, parenting. From preparing meals to helping with homework, from bedtime stories to weekend soccer games, Sarah's responsibilities as a parent never pause. But neither do her responsibilities at work. The project deadlines, the emails that need responses, the meetings that require her input. They're always there, waiting for her attention. Sarah often found herself caught in a tug-of-war between her job and her kids. She'd feel guilty when she had to stay late at work, missing dinner with her children. And she'd feel stressed when she had to take time off work to attend a parent-teacher meeting or nurse a sick child. It seemed like no matter what she chose, she was always letting someone down. And then there was the exhaustion. The physical exhaustion of working long hours, and the mental exhaustion of constantly switching gears between work mode and mom mode. Some nights, Sarah would collapse into bed, too tired to even think about the next day's challenges. But the most difficult part for Sarah wasn't the lack of time or the constant fatigue. It was the guilt. The guilt of feeling like she was failing at both her job and at parenting. The guilt of always feeling like she was not doing enough, not being enough. Sarah was stretched thin, but she found a way to create balance. Let's see how she did it. Sarah knew she couldn't continue this way. She needed a solution, and fast. Sarah realized that the first step was to renegotiate her work hours. She approached her employer and proposed a flexible schedule that would allow her to meet her job demands while also being there for her children. To her relief, her employer was understanding and agreed to the changes. Next, Sarah decided to outsource tasks that were not a priority. She hired a house cleaning service and started ordering groceries online. This not only freed up her time but also reduced the stress of managing everything on her own. Finally, Sarah made a conscious effort to spend quality time with her children. She began to disconnect from work in the evenings, focusing on the present moment with her little ones. This helped her to reconnect with her family and also to recharge herself. Sarah's story reminds us that it's not about having it all, but about finding balance. Achieving work-life balance is not a one-size-fits-all journey. It's different for everyone. Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've embarked upon today. We've seen how the struggles of maintaining a work-life balance can present themselves in different ways, through the experiences of our friends, John and Sarah. John, the overworked executive, and Sarah, the working parent, both faced unique challenges in their pursuit of equilibrium. John, with his demanding corporate position, found himself caught in a cycle of long hours and high stress, leaving little time for self-care or personal relationships. On the other hand, Sarah, a dedicated parent and a committed professional, found herself juggling the demands of her job and the needs of her family, often feeling like she was failing at both. The struggles they experienced are not unique. Many of us can relate to their stories. But what's important is that they both took steps to regain control and find a balance that works for them. John realized that he needed to set boundaries and prioritize his well-being. He understood that it's not about being the best at everything, but about creating a sustainable lifestyle that allows him to excel at his job while also taking care of his mental and physical health. Sarah too made changes. She sought flexibility in her work schedule to better accommodate her family needs. She also understood the importance of delegating tasks, both at work and at home, to prevent burnout and maintain a healthier balance. These individualized solutions underline a key point. Our work-life balance is a personal journey. There's no universal formula or perfect balance to be achieved. It's about finding what works best for us, our work, and our families. It's about setting our boundaries, prioritizing our needs, and constantly reassessing and adjusting our balance as our circumstances change. Let's not forget that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to admit that we're struggling. It's okay to prioritize our well-being. And it's okay to not have it all figured out, because the pursuit of balance is a continuous process, an ongoing journey. Remember, the goal isn't to be perfect in every area of life. It's to find a balance that works for you and your unique circumstances. So let's continue to learn, adapt, and strive for a work-life balance that allows us to thrive in all aspects of our lives.